Class?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for your class, yes. Wait for it. Give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Not fast enough, mighty grump. Back of the brain.
Visual cortex.
Good job, 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Virtue rap.
Virtue rap.
Right
Now we're about to grow our brain. Running with virtues over the same. Kindness. We got this. Leadership. We got this. Courage. We don't discourage. We don't quit. We don't quit. Creativity. We got that ability.
Class.
Yes.
Give me that good 10-finger whoop.
Woo!
Good job. Wait for it. 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Today's big question is, what is an energy pyramid? We're going to talk all about what is an energy pyramid. Give me an uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
With a full shoulder turn, tell your neighbor all about our big question. Teach your neighbor at whisper. Class. Yes. I had some good gestures in the back. Wait for it, but not enough in the front. Mighty grump. Class.
Yes.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
What is an energy pyramid?
What is an energy pyramid?
An energy pyramid
An energy pyramid
is a model
is a model
that will show us
that will show us
the flow of energy
the flow of energy
through an ecosystem.
through an ecosystem.
One more time.
One more time.
Energy pyramid.
Energy pyramid.
It's a model.
It's a model.
It's showing us
It's showing
the
us
flow of energy
the flow of energy
through an ecosystem.
through an ecosystem.
There's all.
There's all.
Full shoulder turn. Get up in your neighbor's faces and tell them what the definition of an energy pyramid is. Teach. Rule number 1. Good job. 1 second. Not fast enough, mighty grump. Not enough shoulders, mighty grump. On the skills bank, we've got diamond rule, and we also have brainies during your teach okay. With the full shoulder turn, tell you what the skills are to win today's scoreboard game. Diamond rule and brainies during your teach okay. Teach.
Okay.
Class.
Yes.
Wop wop class.
Wop wop yes.
Good. Wait for it. 1 second.
Oh yeah.
Up here, I've got a diving deep question. Give me an uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
It says, where does all the energy in an ecosystem ultimately come from? What is that ultimate source of energy that provides energy for that ecosystem? With the full shoulder turn, tell your neighbor this sentence frame, and then I'm going to call you back to class yes. Teach.
Okay. All the energy in the ecosystem ultimately comes from the sun. All the energy in the ecosystem ultimately
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
When I call your name, stand up quickly, class yes, mere words, and complete this sentence frame for us. All eyes on Ross.
All eyes on Ross.
Class,
Yes.
help me. Class,
Yes.
all the mirror words.
Mirror words.
All the energy in an ecosystem.
All the energy in an ecosystem
Ultimately
comes from the producers.
comes from the producers. Class,
Yes.
tell them he's still cool.
You're still cool.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
The ultimate source.
The ultimate source.
Before the producers
Before the producer
got this energy.
got this energy.
It came from the sun.
It came from the sun.
The sun
The sun
provides
provides
all the energy.
all the energy.
Gives it to the producers.
Gives it to the producers.
And then it goes to consumer, consumer, consumer.
And it goes to consumer.
The sun.
The sun.
Ultimate source.
Ultimate source of energy.
Here's all.
Here's all.
Teach.
Okay. The sun is the ultimate source of energy.
Class.
Yes.
Up here I've got some vocabulary. Can it give me a mmm?
Mm.
First word is producer. Give me an uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Second word, consumers. Give me an okay.
Okay.
Decomposers. Give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
Producers.
Producers.
Are plants.
Are plants.
Because they produce their own food.
Their own food.
Using sunlight.
Using sunlight.
Producers.
Producers.
Plants.
Plants.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Making their own energy.
Making their own energy.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
Cool. Shoulder turn. Teaching you all about what a producer is in slow motion. Teach.
Okay.
Class. Not slow enough, mighty grown. Hands and knots.
Hands and knots.
Consumers are organisms that consume, eat other organisms. Consumer starts with a C, and it looks like a mouth. And so remember that when they are asking for consumers, that you tell me you're still cool, Dash.
You're so cool, Dash.
Consumers
Consumers
are organisms
are organisms
that eat other organisms.
that eat other organisms.
Use your C
Use your
and
seed.
eat them up.
Eat them up.
Teach your neighbor at whisper. Teach. Class.
Yes.
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
Decomposers.
Decomposers.
Breakdown.
Breakdown.
Dead organisms.
Dead organisms.
Decomposers.
Decomposers.
Might be a mushroom.
Might be a
It
mushroom.
might be a bacteria.
Might be a
Might
bacteria.
be an earthworm.
Might be an earthworm.
They do the gross stuff.
They do the gross
They
stuff.
break down.
They break down
Matter.
matter.
Recycle it.
Recycle it.
Back in the ecosystem.
Back in the ecosystem.
Decomposers.
Decomposers.
Mirrors off.
Mirrors off.
Cool. Shoulder turn to them with big gestures about decomposers and use a gesture for decomposers. An X over your eye.
Okay, so decomposers break down dead stuff. Decomposers break down dead stuff. Yes.
I've got the code breaker with all the vocabulary that we just learned. I want you to turn to your neighbor and break the code for producers, consumers, and decomposers. Give me an uh-huh. Teach.
Okay.
Class.
Yes.
So to understand an energy pyramid, we want to go back to the knowledge we have about food chains. Give me an okay.
Okay.
Turn to your neighbor and create an original food chain, and I want you to include what every food chain starts with, a producer. And then think up a consumer, and then maybe another consumer, and end it with a decomposer. I'm going to call you back to share your food chain, so get ready. Teach.
Okay.
Class.
Yes.
All eyes on chosen.
All eyes on chosen.
Okay, clap.
Yes.
All right, mirror words.
Mirror words.
All right, so at the bottom we have producers.
At the bottom, we have producers.
All right, next letter up.
Next letter up.
We have consumers.
We have consumers.
Next letter up.
Next letter up.
We have some more consumers.
We have some more consumers.
But
But
they are secondary consumers.
they're secondary consumers.
All right, producers.
All right, producers.
We have the dandelion.
We have the dandelion.
It gets its energy from the sun.
It gets its energy from the sun.
Next ladder up.
Next ladder up.
Primary consumer.
Primary consumers.
We have a bunny.
We have a bunny.
This bunny gonna eat that dandelion.
This bunny gonna eat that dandelion.
That's where it gets its energy.
That's where it gets its energy.
Next ladder up.
Next ladder up.
Secondary consumer.
Secondary consumers.
We got a fox.
We got fox.
Fox gonna eat cottontail.
Fox gonna eat cottontail.
That's where it gets energy.
That's where it gets its energy.
Only has a little bit.
Only has a little bit.
Because the bunny has a little bit.
Because the bunny has a little bit.
Here.
Mirrors off. Class.
Yes.
Children attempting a loop.
Woo!
She got creativity.
I got that ability.
Class.
Yes.
This is a diagram of the energy pyramid. Give me an okay.
Okay.
And I also have it over here with these buckets. buckets, give me an uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to explain the whole entire energy pyramid to you, then I'm going to ask someone to tell it back to me. Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
An energy pyramid is a model that shows how energy transfers from organism to organism. If we look at the base of the energy pyramid, we've got the producers. These are our plants. Give me an aha.
Uh-huh.
They get all the original energy, remember, from that ultimate source, the sun. As it goes up a level, we get to the primary consumers. Those are typically, almost always, going to be the herbivores, our plant eaters. If we go up another level, we've got the secondary consumers, and they eat our primary consumers. At the very tip top, we have our tertiary consumers. In other words, we've got producers, first consumer, second consumer, third consumer. We just got fancy by calling them primary, secondary, and tertiary. Give you an okay.
Okay.
As you go up the energy pyramid, energy is lost. If we look right here, we are starting with 10,000 calories in a small patch of forest. This number means that all the plants in that small patch of forest have up to 10,000 calories. When a primary consumer eats that producer, he's eating all 10,000 calories, but his body is burning 9,000 of those calories by doing funny things, right? Hopping around, escaping a predator, reproducing, even sleeping, he's burning calories. So he burned 90% of the calories that he consumed. So there's only 1,000 calories left over inside of his body. Here comes a hungry secondary consumer that eats that rabbit. He's eating 1,000 calories, but guess what? That secondary consumer has activities to do too, so he burns 90%, and he's only left with 100 calories inside of his body. Tertiary eats the secondary, eats all 100%, burns 90%, and only has 10% left over. Give me a, that was a lot, Desh.
That was a lot, Desh.
I'm sorry for this next person.
I'm sorry for this next person.
All eyes on Xavier.
All eyes on Xavier.
Class?
Yes.
Alright, now we're looking at an energy pyramid.
Now we're looking at an energy
He
pyramid.
didn't say mere words, so just let him take it away. Y'all just listen and focus. He's our target.
Okay, at the bottom,
At the bottom.
No
we
mere
have
words.
producers.
Producers.
And producers get their energy from the sun. And so when a producer has energy, here comes a primal consumer. And a primary consumer eats the producer and gets 90% of its, gets 100% of its energy. But it has all kind of stuff to do, so it uses 90% of that energy it got from the producer. And here comes a secondary consumer who eats the primary consumer and gets 100% of the primary consumer's energy. Well, the secondary consumer has a lot of stuff to do too. So he wastes 9% of the primary consumer's energy. At the top, we have a tertiary consumer who eats the secondary consumer and gets 100% of its energy. But like the secondary consumer, it has all kinds of stuff to do too, and so it wastes 9% of the secondary consumer's energy.
Mirrors off. 10-finger whoop.
Woo!
Tell Xavier he's got leadership.
You got leadership.
Now listen, guys. He explained that entire energy pyramid in less time than I did. That was a pretty good job. He just gave the whole class a 1 second pointer. Wait for it. Let it out.
Oh, yeah.
Another 1 second pointer. Wait for it. Let it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Class.
Yes.
Break this code with your neighbor. I've got the codes on the buckets. I got the codes up there. Full shoulder turn. Explain this whole energy pyramid to your neighbor. Teach.
Okay. So we have producers. We have primary consumers. We have the secondary consumers. And the bottom is tertiary. Top level.
Class.
Yes.
Turn to your neighbor, and I want you to dive deep with this question. Why is energy being lost as it moves from organism to organism? What was happening? He kept mentioning that 90% of the energy was lost as it moves up each trophic level. What was the purpose of that? Why are organisms losing this energy? What kind of things are requiring them to use that energy? Full shoulder turn, use that sentence frame, and look at that because clapper. Teach.
Okay. Energy is being lost by the because it has
Class. Class.
Yes.
All eyes on Jesus.
All eyes on Jesus. Yes.
Mirror words.
Energy
Energy
is being lost.
is being lost
Because it moves.
because it moves
From organism to organism.
from organism to organism
Because
because
all animals
all animals
have to do things
have to do things
like sleep,
like sleep,
eat,
eat,
and run.
and run. Mirrors off. Tippy woo.
Woo.
Class.
Yes.
He mentioned some good reasons. So the reason why that energy is being burned is because of daily activities that these organisms are doing, like sleeping, like running, like burrowing into the ground, reproducing. Those are all reasons why they're losing that 90% energy. Give me an aha. All right, guys, I have another creativity that I would like you to do. Now this time, when you create your food chain, I want you to think about who the producer, primary, secondary, and tertiary consumer is, and include that decomposer, please. Teach.
Okay.
Class, boom!
Yes, boom.
Thank you for my class, yes. Wait for it. Give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Diamond rule.
Keep your eyes on the target.
1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Not fast enough, mighty grown. Not enough, shoulders, mighty grown. I'm going to call on you. You stand up and you fill in this sentence frame. If decomposers were not part of an eco... Tell me, you're still cool.
You're still
I
cool.
want to hear that original creative food chain with you identifying those primary, secondary consumers. All eyes on Naraya.
All eyes on the right.
What's good, Clay?
What's good, class?
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
If decomposes.
If decompose.
Class.
Yes.
Tell her she's still cool.
You're still cool.
I want you to give us that food chain that you just taught your neighbor and identify who's primary, secondary, tertiary in the producer decomposer. Can you do that for us? You got help if you need it. All eyes on the Raya.
All eyes on the right.
What's good, Clay?
What's good, class?
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
The
The
producer
producer
is grass.
is grass.
The primary consumer
The
Primary consumer.
is a deer.
A
A
deer.
deer.
The secondary consumer is
The
Secondary consumer is
Think about
a bear.
a bear. Wow.
Help me.
Tell Naraya she's got this.
You got this.
Class.
Yes.
Mirror words.
The primary
The primary consumer
is
is
a deer.
a deer.
And the secondary
distinguish it from bear and wolf, okay?
And the tertiary
And the tertiary consumer is the bacteria. Mirrors up, class.
Yes.
Tell her she's got grit, she don't quit.
She's got grit, she don't quit.
Thank you, Naraya. Now listen to me. She identified a tertiary consumer as bacteria. But remember, bacteria is part of a decomposer. So if she got to her top level consumer when she said wolf, then maybe there's nothing that preys on the wolf. So she can omit the tertiary consumer level and go from grass, deer, wolf, and then what? Decomposer. Alright? So explain to neighbor how we're going to make that food chain as realistic as possible, and explain to neighbor a new food chain. Teach!
Okay.
Then the secondary, and then the tertiary would be the sauce, and then the decomposer would be the mushroom, because whenever the sauce
Class,
Yes.
new sentence frame. If decomposers were not in an ecosystem, zoo, then what would happen? Because of what? This is the critical thinking sentence frame I want you to use. Get some practice with your neighbor before I call on you. Teach.
Okay. If decomposers are not part of an ecosystem, then the primary because they aren't
Class.
Yes.
I didn't see enough because clapper is mighty grown.
Oh.
All eyes on L'Oreal.
On L'Oreal.
What's poppin', class?
What's poppin', yes?
Mirror words.
Mirror words.
If decomposers
If decomposers
were not part of an ecosystem,
were not part of an ecosystem,
Zoo.
then
Then
dead
animals
will be lying on the ground
will be lying on the ground
because
because
decomposers
would not
be able to break down the dead stuff.
be able to break down the dead stuff.
Give me a period, L'Oreal. Give her a 10-finger woo.
Woo!
Good job. She did that very well. Class.
Yes.
QT on.
QT on.
Remember, thumbs up if it's true, thumbs down if it's false. Here we go. Thumbs sideways if you don't know. The original energy source in an ecosystem comes from both the sun and decomposers. The original source. Alright, thank you. Reset. Producers use photosynthesis to make their energy. Producers use photosynthesis to make their energy. Reset. Secondary consumers gain direct energy from producers. Secondary consumers gain direct energy from producers. Reset. Energy is conserved as it passes through a food chain. So as we go up that energy pyramid, energy is conserved. Make those thumbs as visible as possible, please. Thank you. Reset. The amount of energy decreases as you move up an energy pyramid. Energy decreases as you move up. Reset. Decomposers recycle plant and animal waste back into the ecosystem. They recycle back into the ecosystem. Okay, reset. When a rabbit runs and reproduces, it uses energy, but not when sleeping. When a rabbit runs and reproduces, it uses energy, but not when sleeping. Reset. Last question. An ecosystem can remain stable when there are more tertiary consumers than primary consumers. An ecosystem can remain stable when there are more tertiary consumers than primary consumers. Everything will be okay if we have lots of tertiary consumers and only a few primary consumers. QT off.
QT off.
Class.
Yes.
Give your neighbor a 10-finger woo.
Woo!
Up here, I have a triple whammy sentence frame, mirror words.
Mirror words.
Triple whammy.
Triple whammy.
A stable flow
Stable flow
of energy
of energy
requires
requires
blank zoop,
blank zoop,
blank zoop,
blank zoop,
and
and
blank
blank
in an ecosystem.
in an ecosystem.
Mirror is off.
Mirrors off.
Just repeat the sentence frame, the triple whammy sentence. Don't try to fill it in yet. Just get used to that topic sentence triple whammy frame. Teach.
Okay. A stable flow of energy requires blank zoop, blank and in an ecosystem. A stable flow of energy requires.
Class.
Yes.
If you remember back from my vocabulary candy, we learned 3 important words for an energy pyramid. They were consumer, producer, and
Decomposers.
So those are the 3 main ingredients that we need for a nice, stable food web or energy pyramid. So think about those 3 vocabulary words, and now I want you to do the high 5 switch. So remember, I need you to figure out who's a 1, and then figure out who's the 2. Ones will stand up first, and they will rise and teach their neighbor their sentence frame. When they're done filling in those 3 blanks, they're going to high-five their neighbor, and they're going to switch roles. So now we're filling in those 3 blanks with the important information that's going to develop your micro-essay. Give me an aha.
Uh-huh.
So figure it out. You got 3 seconds to figure out if you're a 1 or a 2. Go. You might have 3. That's right. Class.
Yes.
Wave at me if you're a 1. Pat your head if you're a 2. One's up. Teach your neighbor this sentence frame. When you're done, high 5 switch. Everybody's moving. Everybody's repeating. Teach.
Okay. A stable flow of energy requires
Producers and a decomposer. And consume.
In the deep.
A stable flow of energy requires producers, consumers, and decomposers in an ecosystem.
Consumers and decomposers.
Class.
Yes.
Class.
Yes, yes.
The high 5 switches were not fast enough. Mighty grown.
Up.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Now that you know the 3 important words to fill in those sentence frames with, I want you now to talk to me about developing a sentence that will go with what in this blank? What did you tell your neighbors?
Producer.
And in the blue blank we'll get what?
Consumers.
And my red blank?
Decomposers.
Decomposers. So now this is your topic sentence, and now you're going to add detail about that producer in that next sentence, your second sentence. Add detail about those consumers in your third sentence, and add detail about the decomposers. So now you've got your first paragraph before you start writing. But practice repeating with your neighbor how you're going to complete those sentences. High 5 switch. I want my 2s up first. Go. 2s up. Teach.
Okay.
A stable flow of energy requires a producer, which in its energy
Make those gestures.
it has